Hi, my name is Seth with AORAM Farms, and today we're going to take you on a tour of our farm. We're going to go around and look at the different pens that we have, the different gardens. We'll take you through the ins and outs of our farm. Here we are in our dog pens. These dog runs are about 75 to 100 feet long, and as you can see, 6 to 12 feet wide. So this allows for our dogs to run up and down every day and get as much exercise as they want. We're in Zoe's pen right now, and she's one of our blue merle females who's had a few litters. And then we have studs and females all through here, and they just run and play all day basically. Here we are in our top dog pens. We just recently added these pens in. We built these barns. These are all designed to keep the heat out, so they're cool in the summertime. So they have ventilation at the top and at the bottom. And we got 3 puppies in this pen right now. These 2 red boys that are for sale. And it's a black tri-female behind me. Her name is Jade. She's one of the dogs that we're going to keep. She was born about 4 or 5 months ago. So she's still just a puppy, but she's keeping these 2 boys company until they find a good home to go to. We also have a few dog houses over here set up for puppies when they're young. They have a way to get out of the heat or the cold, little building, and then they have a little yard area to run around in. So it's a good little place to transition them, because we have a puppy room on the other side of the property where we keep them until they're ready to wean. Once we're ready to wean, we bring them over here, wean them from their mother, and then they also introduce them to the outside elements. Here we are in our puppy room. This is actually 3 different stalls that we have subdivided for dogs, so we can have the 3 litters at a time. Now this room is heated and air conditioned depending on the season, so that we can keep the puppies safe and comfortable. We put in a concrete floor just because we were having a problem with the rain coming in and flooding it when it had a lot of rain. So ever since we put in the concrete floors, we haven't had any problem with that. It also helps us to keep down with the fleas. Hi, we're back here looking at the meat here. This is country style ribs. This is pasture raised pork. All our pork is raised back behind me in this pasture, and their pen is actually right over here as well. We pen them up at night with a little bit of grain, but then the rest of the day they're grazing on the grass with their horses. Right here we have 1 package of gourmet steak burger, which our cows are grass fed completely. They don't eat any grain, they don't get any antibiotics, steroid free and everything like that. There's also no preservatives in the meat. Right behind me we have our garden. This is actually our first garden. We expanded it 3 or 4 times from what we originally have now. When we started out, it was just a small plot garden that we were raising vegetables and stuff, mainly for our own use. As we started going to the farmers markets and started selling our beef and pork, we extended our garden. Now we have 3 gardens. This is just our first one. We built that greenhouse that's behind me right here, and it's actually 150 feet long, 30 feet wide. Right now we got shade cloth on top of it, but we also put plastic on it in the winter. Here we are in our second garden, and right here we got some eggplants. This garden is about 1 acre in size, and we grow a lot of different things throughout the year. Like right now we got tomatoes that are starting to produce, peppers, kale, arugula, a lot of different greens. We got mustards, collards, but a lot of stuff we're starting to plant, like broccoli and getting into our cold season stuff. We're in our 3rd garden area right now, where just this week we planted 6 beds. So we're kind of excited about the new growth we're doing. These new 6 beds are just a fraction of what we have available out here. This garden is actually a little over 2 acres. So we have the capacity to make a lot of beds out here and grow a lot of produce. We're in our chicken coop right now. This is actually our third chicken coop. This was actually a 2-dog pens that we converted into a chicken coop. As you can see here, there used to be a fence that came right here and divided it, but now we have 2 roosts, and we made this laying box right here. Actually, it's designed on a slant, so when the chickens lay their eggs, they roll to the back. We have a gate that we open up, and we can collect the eggs. And then we let them out every day to graze. Here we are in our second chicken coop. Actually, this was the original chicken coop that we built. We originally had, I think, 200 chickens in here at one point. And it's a very big coop, as you can see. A lot of chicken laying boxes. I mean, this thing, you can probably have up to 50, 60 chickens laying eggs at one time in this box. And then the roost itself holds about 200 chickens. We like to move the chickens around. Just helps prevent chicken lice and other things that can build up over time. Gives the earth time to, heal and kind of mend a little bit. Eventually, we'll probably move chickens back into here, and we'll let the other pen rest. We'll just kind of rotate. Right here, we're in the alleyway between our feed room and our chicken coops. We have a chicken coop over here. We have a chicken coop over here right now. We're using the pens for dogs, just to kind of rest the ground. So we have chickens all the way up the top. You can see that the alleyway also leads to our goat pen, which is where we milk our goats. Here at AWA Ram Farms, we like to milk our goats twice a day. We like to enjoy the milk every day as well. So we also have a room for baby goats when they're born, so we can keep all of them in a room where they stay warm. Because they're usually born in the winter months, where it's the coldest part of the year. So we like to keep them warm so that they stay healthy. This is Pretty Moon. She's one of our few horses that we still have. And we just have them because they're pretty to look at mostly. Eventually we'll have all of them broke and we can ride out here. But right now we just have them as companions, mostly. We got some fillies. That's Bandit and Dream Girl. Right here is our pond. We actually dug this out with our tractor. So it took a little while to make it. It's about maybe 20 feet deep at the deepest point, all the way back. It just kind of slowly gets deeper as you go. And then it kind of goes that way too. So it's not very deep over here, and right here it's not very deep, but at the very end, right in the middle, it kind of makes an L. So the very end is the deepest part. We have catfish and bass that are in here. Every once in a while we'll come throw a fishing pole out here. The cows and the goats love to get out in here and just kind of bathe themselves. So it's a nice little pond we got right here. Right here we're outside of our feed room right now. It's just a small room that we have dedicated to feed bags and storage. We keep all of our feed, our dog food, our goat food, our horse feed, chicken feed, all that stays in here. Keep it out of the elements, keep the animals out, and try to keep everything nice and organized. Right behind me we have the tool room, the puppy room, and then also the chick room. It was actually a barn that we converted into we closed it in, made it a building. This first room right here, like I said, it's a tool room. We keep our tools, a few other things that we need to store in here. Then behind me, the puppy room, we actually concreted the floors, and there's 3 separate stalls for puppies to give birth. And then the very last room is a chick room that we have to raise baby chicks up. Right behind me, we have the barn, our main barn, basically. We keep our hay, So instead of keeping them in pens by themselves, we pin them up together. If you look further down, we have another pen where we keep goats. These are actually 3 pens at one time that were all horse pens, but since we reduced the number of horses we have, we're using goats in some of the pens now. So each one of these pens has water run to them, so they all have their own water tank and everything. Right here is our hog pen. We got a couple ponds in here. There's a few places for them to get out of the sun, kind of get in the mud a little bit. There's a few water tanks in here. And we let them out during the day to graze on the pasture, so they're running around, eating grass and weeds and whatnot, and then we'll pin them up every night, give them a little bit of grain. Behind me, we have our pastures. Most of our property is set up on the front. You know, we have the gardens and everything set up. We even have a garden right here. But the back pastures we have for cows and horses, mostly for grazing. We have cut rye out of here. You know, I think it's like 10 to 15 acres back here of actual pasture land. So a lot of the property is actually just grain pasture for grazing mostly. Here is our tractor. Without this piece of equipment, we would be doing a lot more work. But it does a lot of work for us. We have a tiller that we use. It's actually 4 feet wide, and that makes our beds for us. So if I'm making a bed over here in this garden, I just drive down and I put the tiller down and I go once across it, and I have a 4-foot bed as long as I make the bed. And we're making our beds about 250 feet. So I can make a 250-foot bed in less than 5 minutes. Behind me we have the cabin, which was one of the original pieces of structure that was actually on the property when we moved out here. We added on to it and made it twice as long, so now there's a bathroom on it. Me and Rachel live in here right now, and we raised these little Yorkies in there. So it's basically just a bedroom and a bathroom, but it's very functional. Behind me we have the workshop slash bunkhouse. In the far end of this house, we have 4 mattresses set up in there. We also have a TV and a little living area, and then we have a few tables set up where we break down all our vegetables when we're packaging. If we have a big produce order or anything else, all that happens inside there. And then at the far end, we have a little kitchen that we use to cook the meals, and there's a laundry room and a bathroom. All that's in that side of the house. So this building is very functional right here. We're in and out of this building all day. Right behind me we have our center area. Eventually we have piers set up here for a house, and as you can see, it'd be a pretty good sized house. Right now we're using it for Silverado. We also have a few dog houses over here set up for puppies when they're young. Well, just want to thank you for going around the farm with us today and looking at all the ins and outs that we have at AORM Farms. We got to show you all the different ways we make money, and we got to show you a little bit of the things that we do, you know, just to satisfy our love for animals and love for nature. So, like I said, thanks for watching, and look forward to seeing you at the farmers markets and around our community. If you have any questions, you can go to our website and check us out, and I hope everybody has a great rest of your day.